Hi all, thank you for coming back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm really happy you're here. So typically my YouTube is just to give you ideas. I'm a new teacher, so this is your chance to also have some inspiration for lesson plans, hopefully. So this is a lesson on the evolution of castles. So finishing off their tasks from last lesson, and then you've got sort of a book tidy do now, so this is a chance for them to sort that out. And then this is how did medieval castles change, so this is sort of a chance for them to recap and use their knowledge. So why were Motte and Bailey castles built and what can they remember? So these are some things that they could have said, and again, what are the issues with using wood for those particular castles, and then again, some things they could have said. This is a chance for you to kind of ascertain that understanding of what you have gone through before. So this is obviously us kind of coming to the end of that castles topic. So stone castles over wooden castles and why. So we have some main bullet points here, as I've said in many previous videos. The highlighted sections are the main points of each bullet point, and this is an opportunity for your HPA students to write down the bullet points, but also encourages your lower attaining students to also give that a go and not feel too overwhelmed, because we want our students achieving equally and well. So we've got 3 bullet points here about castles and them being operational whilst still being renovated with stone, and sort of why that would have been happening. And then we have an example of the Tower of London, so most of them know what that is. So tasks for them: pros to using stone, cons to using stone. Creating this table in their book. They can use the textbook that to support their learning. Obviously it's up to you whether you do that or not. This is obviously a good way to keep them on that correct pathway, though, to kind of putting the right things in there, because year 7 can put all sorts of wonderful imaginative things in here, and obviously it's very hard for them to detach modern day reasons for certain architectures to medieval times, so textbook is there for support. They won't all know what pros and cons are, I found out, so you can say pros and cons, advantages, disadvantages, good and bad. So make sure everybody's understanding, never assume they're understanding. So that's what we have here. Then here, this is a lot of text, so again, make sure you are breaking this down for your students as best you can. I tend to just make sure they understand these bold highlighted sections here. So it's defensive, it's stable, got long-term stability, it's a symbol of power. Obviously this is slightly more sophisticated language for them, but it just means that they can, get new designs for their castles. And also the availability of stone, local quarries are being used. Here we've also got our reasons for why it was maybe more difficult to create stone castles. So again, same thing, just the cost and the labour is expensive, it takes a lot of time. They're going to be limited because it's going to be heavy stuff. They don't have machines like we do to carry things and carve things, so it's going to take a long time again. Weight and transport, as I've just said, this is significantly heavier than timber, so it's going to take a while. Flexibility in location, obviously not all locations can withstand the weight of stone, but also they might not be near a quarry, etc. And then also adaptation to local conditions. So like I've just said, some areas favour timber over stone due to the weather and just the way that the land lies. And one of the main things of attack and defence, which you can also add, because I would have gone over the attack and defence of Motte and Bailey castles prior to this lesson. Another thing that they can add to that is that people start mining underneath, so rebels can mine underneath the corners of the castle to get inside, and this is altered later on, such as King John's time. They start to round off those edges. So Ludlow Castle is the case study for this lesson. It's actually a really good castle to use because you can see really easily where things used to be. As you can see here, you can see where the old drawbridge and entry would have been, that it moved over. You can see that it's got this moat. You can see lots of things. You've got the castle plan here that details the bailey, the inner bailey, which is a new concept, outer bailey, inner bailey, because we won't have gone over that before. So this is a chance to show that evolution and why it happened. Talk about ringwork structures, so a Motte and Bailey castle without the motte, basically. And you end up having the baileys, the shell wall, towers, and how these keep evolving onwards. So again, blowing up that sort of castle plan. So making sure obviously to go over the fact that they do have chapels, they do have a well, judges' lodgings, laundry, they've got loads of stuff in here that your students are going to be interested in. So this is your chance to kind of ask them to look back. How is it different? Is it better? Is it worse? What do they think? This is a really good video from History Hit with Dan Snow, going inside Ludlow Castle. It's just a nice way for them to actually see a castle being used, because obviously a lot of this is imaginative. We're talking about medieval times. This is not going to be something they can relate to, massively. So having an actual video is really good. Not all of your students will have had that opportunity to go to castle ruins or anything like that, depending on their own personal circumstances. So videos are always good. So keywords, here we go, keywords here. Now, I don't think, hang on, let me have a look. No, so the only new keyword that my students would have had was concentric castle. So a castle with 2 or more stone walls, such as an inner and an outer bailey. That's probably the only thing that they would have had new. Obviously, we've got inner and outer here as well, that's sort of new, but all the rest here they will have already covered in depth. And we also you can add murder holes on. I have discussed that with my students previously, so it's up to you what you've talked about, but these are just the keywords. So hopefully by the end of this lesson there's a chance that they will understand that evolution of castles and why it is different, and also start to get that idea of pros and cons. And obviously you can set a homework to consolidate that learning. So I hope that this was helpful. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you in another video soon. Take care. Bye.